Hello and welcome into Ticket Weekends with Sadio Fenner, and I'm Ben Droz, one of the producers here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sadio, how are you doing?
No, I'm not too bad. I can't complain.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Still messing with the stream, trying to get it all ready. But while we are starting off the show, you're dressed up very nicely today. Can you kind of tell us why?
Sure can. So today we have our Night at the Lead event, which is kind of like an athlete award show. So basically my plan was, look the part when I come here and then just go straight there afterwards.
Well, you outdressed me today. So, I feel like you one-upped me. But, you look way better than I do.
I appreciate that.
No, you look. See, I was a big speech kid when I was in high school. So I wore a lot of suits.
Okay. So that makes sense.
I appreciate it because I either wear like gym shorts and a t-shirt or I wear a suit.
See, that's like my everyday, except like I really don't have much reason to wear a suit anymore. So when I get the chance, it's like, you know what, we gotta show up and show out.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do that. Well, what do you want to start off the conversation with? You want to talk about track and field to start?
Yeah, we'll start with that.
Right.
So our team had the Drake relays this weekend, and I don't know what other way to put it than our team kind of just did their thing. We've had a good number of people that either set school records, personal bests. We've got a lot of people that are currently ranked in the top 10, which is awesome. So, I mean, going into conference week in 2 weeks, I'm very, very hopeful this team will do some very special things.
That's awesome. I mean, can you kind of just like, this is the first time I've been on the show with you. So can you kind of just say, how's your year been going? Because I haven't heard too much about it.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, my year has been interesting for sure. So as far as outdoor season is gone, working with my coaches and all that to just kind of get me ready for steeple. We went to Stanford first, kind of had a hiccup there as far as weather goes, but I mean, competed hard with the people that were there. Followed up 2 weeks later at the Azusa Pacific meet where I ran a 9:07. So that was the second fastest time I've ran in my life. So that was really cool. And then this past weekend, went to Drake on Thursday and raced there. Went pretty well, all things considered. I mean, weather wasn't great as far as 20-mile-an-hour winds and a massive heat. But the one thing that, I mean, I guess I pride myself on is when things get kind of rough, you still show up and do your job. I got kind of pushed out of the water barrier. So like I ended up taking like a little barrel roll out of that, but got back up, finished the race. And I think that just, that's what racing is sometimes. It's physical.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the weather's not been too nice lately.
No.
there was tornadoes that were in Omaha. Tornado just missed Lincoln.
Yep, I was about to say.
Didn't touch down, but Waverly got hit bad.
Yep, so did Elkhorn, a couple other areas down there.
My sister just moved to Waverly. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, but all for her house and stuff is fine. But it got hit hard over there.
No, my thoughts and prayers to everybody that was affected by it.
Yeah, definitely. It tough times, and it's still like very windy today, and I mean you could definitely tell that there was just bad storms.
Yeah, big time. There's debris everywhere. There's it's still wet in some places, but
yeah, still sidewalk all wet and everything. But at least it's not too bad today.
No,
nicer weather for your event at the Weed Center, and that's just right over here.
Correct. Yeah, it's right up the street.
You just gonna walk right over there?
No, I think I'm gonna go meet up with my girlfriend and her friends first, and then we'll all kind of head over as a big group.
How long of an event is that even gonna be?
Oh, I want to say it'll probably be about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, no.
Whenever I think of those kind of things, usually they're like 3 or 4. I'm like, that's pushing it. But
no. I think they're kind of thinking, oh, you guys are student athletes. We don't need to keep you guys here any longer than we want to.
No, yeah, that definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Well, stuff going on with you've been doing track and field. You guys have been traveling a lot.
A lot of traveling.
Did you guys just come back from traveling this past weekend?
Yep. So Drake for our team looked a little bit weird because we had our distance guys leave on Wednesday, compete Thursday, come back Friday. The rest of our team left Thursday, and then they started competition on Friday and Saturday. But we also had some people in some of the lead events, so they were competing on Tuesday in some like special sections for that. But yeah, a lot of traveling. I mean, I feel like that's all we're doing is come home, do some studying, leave again, and it's just that cycle.
I mean, school's almost done for the year.
Went by really fast.
It did. I mean, we're both in school right now. It definitely. I mean, it hasn't even really hit me yet that there's like only 2 more weeks left in the semester. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hitting me a little bit more right now, just because it's in that 2-week period. I feel like for like master's classes, there's a lot of stuff that gets done in those 2 weeks, and they're turning their stuff into me and making sure that I'm putting it where it needs to go. So
are you graduating this semester?
I am.
Nice. And I'm assuming you have a teaching degree, some
Not in the slightest.
No.
I took on a teaching position just to kind of, one, build
Ooh.
my resume, but also,
All right.
I mean, it helped pay for school. So,
All right. And what's your major?
so my major, I guess, would be exercise physiology with a minor in psych.
Whoa.
So a lot of biology, a lot of moving parts with that one, but hopefully it'll, help me with what I'd like to do in the future.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like it'd be very hard for school.
I think it's relative. I mean, like, I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody's majors has something that I'd sit here and be
Definitely.
like, I could never do this. But I think because it's interesting to me, like, I kind of find a way to make it make sense.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, some people would rather, get up and talk in front of people instead of having to do math, but other people like,
Math is their thing.
yeah. So it's just, I mean, everyone's different. That's why it's so great. That's why we have all the different majors and stuff, because we got to fill up everything. I mean, I'm what sports media journalism. If I had to go into I had to take like one college biology class, and I did not like it.
See, I know exactly how that feels. I mean, I could point my finger at a lot of classes where I was like, why did I take this? But I think like the one class that really gave me a hard time that like had nothing to do with my major, I had like a behavior genetics class, which I mean, like, psychology for one thing, like, isn't my strong suit. That's half the reason why I'm taking a minor in it, just so I can get some better understanding. But the genetics component of that was just something that I'd never thought I'd see myself doing until like having to reteach myself all that stuff. I was like, this is rough.
I bet. I mean, that's why so. What are your thoughts on like taking gap years? Because I know a lot of people that have taken like gap years from school, but I feel like if I would be out of school for a year, I could not get back into it.
And I think that's where a lot of people fall. I know my mom, when she was talking to me about doing just, higher education as a whole, she was like, don't wait. You wait, you're gonna, you're gonna really screw yourself, only because you're gonna lose
Yeah.
that motivation. You're not gonna understand how to do school anymore. Because I mean, think about it. With the classes you're taking, you've probably got a system already all figured out.
Oh yeah.
And then you leave and it's like, oh wait, what happened to my system?
Oh yeah. Like it's not even that like you can't do it. It would just be like so much. Once you're like out of school, you just like you don't want to go back.
No,
'Cause
motivation's gone.
It's just like you go to school so you could do your career, and then if you take a gap year and you're kind of already doing what you wanted to do, you're like, why would I want to go back?
Exactly.
It's kind of, and that's also a big conversation. Some people doing what they want to do before they even go to college.
Yep.
It's like, well, why do I even need to go to college?
And that's just, checking that little check mark off that box that says,
Yeah.
oh, I've got the credentials. That's all that matters. But
Yeah. But I mean, with you as a student athlete, I mean, that's got to be a lot different, because a big reason you probably wanted to go to college was to compete in track and field. Or is that right or wrong?
so you would think that, but for me, it was kind of weird because I think I've told this story a couple of times, but my mom, when we were going through like middle school, high school, couldn't pick me up from school. So her whole
Yeah.
thing was, I know you don't really want to do sports, because I was much more of a bookworm, but she was like, you know what, I'm throwing you in cross country. You're going to do whatever they tell you to at practice, and then
Yeah.
you're going to run home. And so that's kind of how I got started with it. So when I got to college, or around like that time when you start applying to college, I was like, you know what, like I might be able to run. And I had a couple coaches that were like, you know what, I think you should try it. Ended up getting here, and it just opened so many doors because,
Yeah.
you think about it, I get to do the competing side, but then it also allows me to do a whole bunch of other stuff that I guess your average person wouldn't be able to, just because of that. Like I said, like that little check mark that says, oh, he's an athlete.
Yeah.
And that's been, I mean, it's been huge.
I mean, I'm not a student athlete. I mean, I work, but like, how is it? Because I haven't really asked this to too many student athletes. How is I say work life, like the work life balance between your sport and school? Like, how tough is that?
I think
be
it
able to
depends on
manage?
who you ask. Because I mean, like, so I worked in college on top of this. Like, I
Mhm.
was a phlebotomist. I obviously student teach now. So that balance is a little bit more challenging. But I feel like, again, it just comes down to what kind of person you were before you got
Mhm.
here. I mean, being a student athlete will definitely teach you a lot of things as far as, can you actually manage your time well? And like, what I mean, like, can you, it's way different from saying, can you actually do it, or do you actually do it? Because I mean,
Yeah.
you see a lot of student athletes where they're like, oh, like I really struggle with turning in assignments late before they get here. And now it's like, oh God, I'm missing like a whole week of school.
Mhm.
I've missed all of these things I now need to catch up on. I need to teach myself. That becomes really challenging. So I mean, my first 2 years here, like, I'll be completely transparent, I suffered a lot because of that, because I was like, I don't have
Yeah.
mom and dad breathing down my neck anymore. Like,
That,
get your work done.
yeah, no, like that was a big change for me as well. Like every single morning, if it like my parents wouldn't let me sleep in past like 7 if it was a school day, because it was just like they wanted me to be up. But now for college, sometimes I'm not waking up till like 11.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's not even that bad for some people aren't waking up till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something.
And I know in the days go on, and I'm like, how do you guys do that?
Like, what is this? Like, be a early bird. But ever since I came to college, not as much. How about you?
It's different. I mean, I had to be an early bird because I mean, like with running, sometimes like it just works out to work out in the
Oh,
morning,
yeah.
especially over the summer when it's like, you got 100-degree days.
Oh,
I'd
it's
rather get up
cooler in
at
the morning.
6.
Yep.
Exactly. But I mean, again, like it's a matter of like just learning and trying to learn to be responsible. Because I mean, a lot of
Mhm.
people are like, oh, I can get by with doing the minimum. But I feel like that's the one good thing about the added pressure of being a student athlete is, if you don't wake up, you don't do your assignments, all that stuff, your grades obviously suffer. And most people would be like, oh, you're an athlete, you have that to fall back on. The one thing about Nebraska, which I'm sure a lot of other Division 1 programs are like this, but you can't compete if your GPA is like below a certain threshold. And
Mhm.
that depends on the team, depends on the coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been a big part because I mean, like, your best athletes still have to have at least a somewhat decent GPA in order to
Oh,
be on the
yeah.
field to compete.
What even is it for track and field, you know?
I think like the absolute minimum would be like a 2.0, but I mean, our coaches will probably say something to you if it's like below 2.5.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't I mean, I've always had pretty good GPA, so, like, I've never been one to judge, but I feel like if you're getting to, like, a 2.0,
Yeah.
that's pretty low.
And to me, that's just like saying you're not really trying. Because I mean, like,
Yeah.
if you think about it, if you do
Yeah.
the bare minimum, you show up to class, you turn in your assignments on time, chances are you're probably going to do okay. If the teacher's hard on you, if the class is generally that difficult, that's a different story. Like, that's a conversation where, again,
Mhm.
if you put in that extra effort of, I'm going to go to office hours, I'm going to go talk to my
Mhm.
professor, I'm going to, watch YouTube videos to try to teach myself, like, that's that extra stuff, like, that puts you over the edge on somebody. But for the most part, like, you should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest class that I had to take so far at UNL, it was an online class that I did. Have you done an online class?
Sure have. They're kind of difficult.
Man, like, see, I did it because so when I was in high school, one of the two-year colleges in Columbus, CCC, I
Okay.
did a bunch of online classes there, but that was a two-year school, and
Right.
those classes were pretty easy. I came to UNL, I took like a history class. It I barely passed that class, but good thing I took it as a pass, no pass,
Oh,
so it didn't affect my GPA at all. But that
yep.
was like the low, like I barely passed that. Like the last test, like I barely stayed above. It was like I'd have a 73. I think I had like a 73.1 or something.
I
Like
love that.
it was close. It was close. Like though, and I feel like it was because like the online class are just so tough because like you can't just like go up to the teacher after class and be like, oh, I didn't understand this part, and you can ask them. It's just like you kind of just got to figure it out.
Yep. No, I mean, I totally agree with everything you just said. I mean, when COVID happened, that was my
Oh yeah,
like sophomore, junior year of college. That was
how was that?
insanely tough.
Like I know for high school, I was junior in high school when COVID hit, so, like, we had, like, online assignments, but, like, it was even, like even if you didn't do them, they weren't gonna, like, fail you from the class,
Right.
so it's like, you didn't even really have to do them. How was it in college?
I won't lie at all. That was my worst semester in college just because I mean, I'm very much so a people person. Like, if you
Yeah.
give me people to work with, I'll be okay. So, like, send me to class, let me ask questions, let me touch what I'm doing. Like, especially with like biology, I was taking anatomy at the time, which requires you to, use the cadavers and things like
Yeah.
that. Well, you move that online, and it becomes way more difficult for someone like me to learn that stuff. And so that was
Mhm.
my first failing grade in college was anatomy because the second it went online, the lab, which is already like 2 hours in person, now became like 2 hours in person on a computer where I can't really see, what's going on. And I'm like, this is
How does that
miserable.
even work?
They were putting pictures on there and it's like, this is what this is. And I'm like, to me, this all looks the same because I like it's a zoomed in picture of the muscle I'm supposed to be looking at, but I don't see the full picture. So I can't really, like put the pieces together in my head.
Yeah.
So
Like
I really struggled with that one.
no,
But
yeah, like, science class online, that just I remember, like, I think my junior year, one of my science classes, it was, like, on like during COVID, we had to go online, but like it was like we had to read this article and then like answer questions. It wasn't like, having to like we weren't they kind of stopped teaching us new concepts. So like
see,
we honestly just lost like an entire half a semester worth of learning.
which that's okay. So to that point, with what we were talking about earlier, with like the gap year, it's very similar to
Yeah.
that, right? Like you lose a semester worth of any sort of forward, but what did you gain in that time?
I mean, yeah, because that was what? That was March? Or was
Somewhere
it
around there, yeah.
late? Yeah, that was like early March. I mean, we were like halfway done with the semester. So it's like, and the end of the semester is when like everything, all the concepts come together.
Yep.
And it's kind of just like, man, for math, my math class, the math class wasn't bad online because she like would send us videos of her like teaching it.
Okay.
So like that wasn't that bad. But like a science class, I'm glad she wasn't trying to teach us
Yeah.
anything new. Like that,
No.
that would have been like impossible because it's like, when she's lecturing during class, you have to ask, like I ask a question if I don't know.
And if, she just gives us something.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think the one class that I think of that like embodies exactly what you're saying, but in the opposite sense, where the teacher like couldn't really do that. It was I was taking organic chemistry over the summer as a 5-week class, so it's already condensed. It's already gonna be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, like the class wasn't super challenging. I mean, like, yes, there's a lot of new concepts that come from it. It's more challenging than your, intro level chemistry classes.
Yeah.
But when you have an older professor who doesn't use technology to begin with, now he has to, adapt to being on Zoom, having to like, have 3 different cameras on him to do different stuff. He's struggling with that. You can imagine how it is on our end trying to learn it.
Oh yeah.
And so I feel like I walked away from that class like with literally the bare minimum. And now it's like when I move into the higher level stuff, I'm like, oh crap, I got to go back and reteach myself the intro stuff just to make sure that I actually understood what was going on.
Yeah, I'm glad COVID hit for me when I was in high school, because I feel like if it would have been college, when like the stuff I was learning actually applied to like what I wanted to do, in like high school, it's like math, science, like not all that stuff's gonna apply to your major.
No.
Like I'm a journalism major. I don't need to know as much about biology as someone in your major that probably doesn't even know a little bit about that. So like I'm glad it hit for me during high school, because it was like, even though I didn't learn everything that we were probably supposed to during that semester, is like,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. And I mean, what would they? I mean, I don't even know what. I mean, like teachers did their best.
They did their best, right? Like I can't say anything more. Like I applaud them for at least trying, but it was hard for everybody.
It was. I mean, COVID. And isn't that weird? It was already like 4 years ago.
Seriously, yeah. I think about that, and I'm like, where did that happen?
Like, so would that have been what, your freshman year?
That would have been my
like
a sophomore junior year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that felt like it felt like it was just yesterday, but so long ago.
So here's a question for you then. During that time, did you pick up any like weird skills or just like new talents?
I picked up a good talent for messing up my sweep schedule.
I
would say that. I mean, no, I mean, I don't know. I watched way too much Netflix during COVID.
I think we all did, probably.
Because I mean, I was like, what were you gonna do?
Yeah,
I was just sitting inside all day, and it was like, everyone was deathly afraid to go anywhere.
Yeah,
it was like going to the grocery store was like, oh my gosh, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Man, those were not great times. Those were not great times. But with that, we should probably throw it to break. When we come back, we'll continue other conversations with Ticket Weekends with Sadio Fenner right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hey Nebraska! Register today for the 40th annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. If you've experienced a sports injury, joint or back pain, trust your care to Nebraska Orthopedic Center, a proud platinum partner of the Cornhusker State Games.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Whether you're looking for a place to stay for a concert at PBA, a Nebraska home game, or just a night on the town, the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket is the place for you. Enjoy an evening at one of many restaurants or bars within a short walking distance. Business travelers at the hotel will enjoy free high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the Bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
You're spending $300 a month. Binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking, which costs the United States more than $191 billion each year. By drinking less, you will save $300 a month. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in to Ticket Weekends with Sadio Fenner and now Ben Droz for today. We just got done kind of just getting to know each other because it's the first time we've been on the show together. So what do you want to talk about second segment?
So second segment, I think, so just kind of going off of what me and DP have been working on for a little bit is just kind of, talking about people's perspectives, getting to, kind of share other people's stories and lenses, perspectives with the people. So one of the questions that I would ask you would be like, as far as your journey and how you got to where you are, what are some of like the hardships that you think really shaped you and like that made you?
Whew, man, what a question. So, don't know if you could tell by just listening to my voice, but I have a speech impediment. And I've had a speech impediment like my entire life. Like when I was in kindergarten, like my kindergarten teacher said that she could understand like 25% of what I was saying. Like it was that bad.
Sheesh.
So I had to be in like speech. Like, I don't even know what it's called. Speech. It's not therapy, but like
something along those lines.
Like, yeah, being able to like, so people could actually understand what I'm saying and like learning all the letters. Like I remember like we had like, there's a big book and I had to go through like each letter and learn how to say each letter. That's how bad it was. But then, I went from that and having to deal with that to I did speech in high school. So
and you said that.
Yeah. So I got up in front of people and gave speeches. I went from people not being able to understand me to doing that. And now I'm on radio. And I would just say, like, the hardships of having to deal with that. Cause like I still can't say the letter R that well. But you know what? You say it confidently. And I would say that'd be a big part that's been like, challenging for me. Is always having to deal with that my entire life. Cause it's one of those things where like it's never gonna be like, oh man, like it's cured. Like
right.
It just is what it is. But I would say that. And I don't know, man. Like trying to be like talk about sports all the time. And I never really did a sport,
Yeah.
So like that was always like challenging to get people that I know, like people to like see that my opinion is valid about it. Even if I never even if I never played football, doesn't mean I don't know how football works and like what it takes to win and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
No, I totally get it. I mean, what you just said is great. Because I mean, when I walked in here, I would have never guessed. Like, I mean, obviously I picked up as we started talking, but I'm like, you do this with confidence. You're great at what you do. I mean, obviously you wouldn't have this job if you weren't. So, I mean, that just is a testament to your ability to, work through whatever, and you didn't let it deter you from getting to where you are, which is huge.
Because, I mean, this is what I love to do. So it's like, I wasn't going to let it stop me because this is what I want to do in my life. What about you?
Oh, I could point the finger at a lot of things that kind of shaped me for what I am. But I think like if I look at my core, like I think the hardest part was, not having both parents in the household. Like that was a little bit challenging. I mean, I still had contact with both of them. I mean, I had my mom as my rock and my dad was just kind of there, but having to be independent and then growing up, I guess like before most people had to, like, for lack of better words. I mean, I think that probably by the time I was 10, like my true childhood was over. It's like, now you need to be an adult. And that was, that's going to be hard. But at the same time, it's like, now I understand how to carry myself better. I know what professionalism is supposed to look like. I knew kind of more or less, how to hold myself at a high standard, how to talk to others, how to just be, again, for lack of better word, just a good person. And I think that's something that, would I have changed anything from the past? No. Does it still like suck that I would have had to go through that to get to where I am?
Yeah.
Yes. But I mean, I think that's a testament to just about everybody in success. It's like that success doesn't happen without that hardship.
I mean, I would have loved to just never had a speech impediment, I would have loved to just everyone be able to understand everything I said right when, I was 5 years old. But, not everything happens the way you want it to. And it's kind of the reason why I am the way I am today. Because like, if you're just handed everything, you know what I mean? Like if they're like, I'm never going to point finger on anybody, but like, there's some people that just kind of get handed everything in life.
Yeah.
And when adversity hits, it's harder for them.
Oh, big time. I mean, I thought this was, I still think this is funny, but every time, like, I'm scrolling through Instagram, whatever, brain rot, and like occasionally I'll get something really just like thought provoking, but it would be in the weirdest way possible. Like it'd be a cartoon from, 2012 where it's like, what does this cartoon have to bring value to me? And this cartoon, like, it's Adventure Time, but it said something along the lines of, like, what is the value of just having something like as soon as you want it, then there's no point in living. And that's that whole bit of like, if, like you said, like if I could just get rid of the speech impediment right now, my life would be great. But without the speech impediment, there wouldn't have been that growth. There wouldn't have been any of those like significant changes that happened to lead you to where you are now. And that's like, again, the value of work. So looking at people from our generation, because I think that primarily is who that finger gets pointed at. Like we're so bought into this mindset of I need instant gratification. And it's, there's no value if I just hand you something. Like if the two of us are going to go hike up a mountain and you take a helicopter up and you get dropped off the top and I have to, work my way up there, like just with my hands and my feet, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to be rugged. I'm going to be built. I'm going to understand the terrain, all acclimated. You'll probably be up there sitting there, like, breathing really hard because you just get dropped off 14,000 feet. You won't understand, where my resources at, where am I going to find this? And that, I think that just proves the point of, there's definitely value in hard work.
I mean, and it's just such something that like isn't valued as much. You know what I mean? Like there's so many times, and I mean, I feel like we all fall victim to this, where it's like sometimes taking the easy road is what you want to do.
Right.
Like I gotta be honest, sometimes in college, there's been a few times where like there's like this tough assignment that's given. I'm like, if I only do like half of this, how much will it hurt my grade?
Right.
And I'm like, only dropped to 1%. All right, we'll just do half.
Exactly.
I mean, you get busy and everything like that, but like taking pride in like working at the things you really want to do in life, I feel like it's like we all fall victim to not giving 100% to everything because you only have so much effort to give and time to give to everything.
Right.
So it's like for me, it's like, what are my goals? What do I want to do with my life? And putting full effort and energy into that.
I totally agree. I mean, one of the things that Nadu, one of our sports psychologists, said to me, and I've carried this throughout everything because again, it just makes sense. But there's this thing called the burner theory. So basically, what it's saying is, you think about cooking in a kitchen. You've got so many burners. If I have so many things going on, I'm going to burn something. I'm going to mess up something on my little, whatever it is I'm cooking. So to your point, it's like, how much gas do I want to give to this thing, or how much attention do I want to give to this without, screwing up everything else? And I mean, I could play devil's advocate and say, like, there is sometimes benefit in like, putting in half effort into something if it's not going to change the outcome.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you hear this all the time with some bosses where it's like, sometimes I give the hardest work to the laziest person because they're going to find the easiest way to do it. And then once I find the easy way to do it, I can make it efficient.
Yeah.
But then, that doesn't apply to every scenario. Like with sports, for example, if I put in half my effort, well, whoever put in more effort than me is going to do better. That's just the reality of it. So that's just, knowing place and time, and then obviously capitalizing on whatever situation you're in. But some people have to learn that the hard way, unfortunately, and they don't ever put themselves in a position to learn it.
Yeah. I mean, there's just like sometimes some things that grind my gears, and I don't like saying that, but like when I see people that like they're like majoring in something specific and like they're not giving full effort in that like it just like irks me because it's like it's like I can't. It's like why?
Right? Why are you here?
I'm like this is what you want to do, but it's like you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, so what do you want to do?
And I mean, I think that's the college kid mentality. Like when I say the college kid, this isn't everybody. This is probably like 10-15% of college students, but they get here and it's like, I did all this hard work to get to college, and now I'm going to sit on my couch and do nothing all day, even though like I worked super hard to get into the degree program that I'm in. Yeah. But I'm more concerned with like, hanging out with my friends, drinking, whatever. And I'm like, there's so much more left to your life if you put a little bit of effort in right now.
I know. It's just like, I mean, even in my industry, with journalism, it's like getting just the degree is not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, because you have all these other people that, have done like, 3 different internships, have had however many number of stories published. If all you did was just go to college and sat in a classroom, you didn't separate yourself from it.
Exactly.
And that's like the whole thing, especially in this industry for sports. I don't know how much about that in science, because I feel like with that, it's more of like, I mean, not as many people are wanting to go into that. Like everyone's wanting to go into sports.
Right. Yeah.
Not as many people are wanting, to go through that many years of college and being in science. I don't know how much that applies to that, but I know at least for me.
It's kind of crazy, actually. I mean, so when I was looking at med school and all that stuff, like one of the biggest things that they talked about was like, okay, like for a student athlete, for example, you're like, oh, like that's a massive thing on a check mark. Everybody wants that. And like the harsh reality of it is it's like nobody cares. Like it's great while you're in the moment. Like, the smaller jobs, it might mean more, but like to bigger things like master's program, PhD, like some people will go out of their way and be like, oh yeah, no, that has value. But usually that person is somebody who did sports themselves. But then for the majority of it, it's like, okay, you're a student athlete and what? And it's like, oh crap, like, and what? And so like for me, I feel like my mom just being who she was, very driven, very much so like, you're going to go out and do everything you can. Like I said, I worked a job in my undergrad. So I was working as a phlebotomist. So I worked at St. Anne's Hospital, doing all sorts of whatever the hospital needed really. But, on top of that, within athletics, I do a lot of leadership stuff as well. So, I've got, I'm in a fraternity. I'm a vice president for that. Vice president for our student athlete advisory committee and a whole bunch of other things along those lines. So it's like, how do you fill that time to set yourself apart? Because if you can't do that, then it's like, well, you're no different than the person sitting next to you.
That's what I mean. And that was kind of the reality check when I came to college. Like seeing like, for me, like all my classes, like, the biggest class I ever had to be in so far in college, because journalism in college is not as big as others. Like I think the most people I've had in a classroom as me is like 100.
Really?
So like not that much. There's like lecture halls where there's like a couple hundred people.
Yeah.
Like every single class they go to. So it's like, but even then, just seeing that everyone sitting by me has the same major as me, have the same goals as me. That's like, man, I really got it. Like you have to put in the extra effort, or you're just gonna, because like no one's gonna come to you for a job, really.
No.
Like that, maybe that happens 1 out of like 100 times someone comes to you for a job. Usually you are the one having to go apply to everything.
Exactly.
Like a job's not gonna just come crawling to you. You have to go to it.
No. And if it's a job you want, chances are they're definitely not coming to you. Because like if it's a job that's actually worth getting, they're probably not looking for, I'm going to here. No,
they have like 100 applicants or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they don't need to go to anybody. They have a whole list of a bunch of people that are qualified that they can hire. They're not having to go out and look for people. Yep. So that was kind of a big reality check for me saying, okay, man, I'm really going to have to put an effort into this, or I'm just going to like, you're going to like my biggest fear while I was in college was, am I going to graduate and it's like not have a job?
Yeah.
That was my biggest fear. I know that's like very common, but so that's why I was like, I wanted to get a job here because it's like, I want to be able to know that when I graduate, I'm actually, sustain myself and have a life, pay my bills, because I mean, at the end of the day, we have to make money.
No, then that's the harsh reality of it, right? Like you just have to, again, check the boxes and hopefully like you check the box that says, oh, I'm going to have a paycheck that'll help, pay the bills and everything else. I mean, one of the things that I like, I struggle with that is in thinking about how you have to live your life, right? There's that bit where, oh, I've graduated, I've got my degree, I'm looking for a job. A lot of people are like, I'm going to wait until after I have my degree to like start looking for things where it's like, no, you can't. You got to be proactive with your thinking. I'm like, okay, maybe I just finished my junior year. I'm going to my senior year. Let's start looking for jobs now. Hopefully, I can find something where it's like, yeah, we'll go with you once you get your degree and then you're all good. But then there's that other part of it where it's like, well, if you do that, you're going to get to the end of your degree and you're not going to celebrate any of the hard work that you've just done. And that's like that mental piece where it's like, okay, let's take a step back, applaud ourselves for what we just did.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll put our best foot forward for the next thing we do.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm always like a forward thinker. I never think of like in the present, like I haven't even really came to reality that I'm like 2/3 of the way done with college.
Yeah.
like that isn't even set in. Cause it's like, when I graduated from high school, it's like, okay, I need to get internships while I'm in college. Cause I don't want to just do college. Cause college is only going to take up however many hours of the week. I don't want to be, just watching Netflix the rest of them. I need to be improving. So I got a job at Husker Vision, student newspaper. And I was like, okay, these are both jobs where like, after I graduate, I won't have them anymore. Yep. I need a job that I can actually, that I can sustain myself in the industry. And that's why I'm here.
Exactly.
So it's like always looking to improve. And then even now I'm still always searching to see, is there another job out there? You never know. Cause like, you can't I never want to be complacent.
I love that you just said that. I think so many people are so scared to, branch out and leave their things. I mean, I don't know if that's just like a Nebraska thing. Cause I mean, I feel like from where I'm from, maybe that's just because it's a military town. People are always moving in and out. But like here, it's like people are so rooted in everything, whether it's, rooted in family, rooted in thought process. And I'm like, there's definitely benefit to that. Do not get me wrong. But think about like how much more like expansive your thought process would be if you were able to say, you know what, I'm going to take that leap. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to go somewhere else and have somebody else like teach me something, whether it's by questioning my thought, exposing me to new experiences and things like that. But again, it's just like that safety piece. And it's like, I'm going to find the thing that's safe. And once I find it, I'm going to hold on to it. I'm not going to let it go anywhere. And I'm like, you don't grow from that. There's no gain. So it's like, you could have this entry level position wherever for the rest of your life you want it. But think about like where that's going to take you. Probably not very far.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I definitely agree with that. I mean, change is scary,
Oh, big time.
Change is scary. Like even like I'm from Columbus. I moved to Lincoln, just an hour and a half away. That was scary.
Yeah.
Like, just living by myself in an apartment and not having my parents there. That was scary. Like having to pay my rent bill every single month. That's sometimes scary. You know? Just like even just simple things like that 2 years ago I wasn't even thinking about.
Exactly.
I wasn't even thinking about, having to pay for rent, having to pay for gas, having to pay for food. Now it's like every time my credit card bill comes in, I'm like,
do I really have to pay this?
Exactly. It's just like, I went to fast food way too much this month. That's always the thing that kills me. I eat at McDonald's way too much.
Dude, you and me both. I eat a lot. Like I have no shame in saying that. And so it's like, yes, we get training table from the athletic department, but you better believe that like 10 o'clock gets around and I'm hungry, I'm going out to eat somewhere.
Man, and it's just like, and it's expensive, man.
Oh, and it keeps getting more and more expensive.
See, and this is why McDonald's is my favorite place. I know it's not the healthiest out there, but I have my order that's super cheap. I get 2 McChickens, and if you order on the app, you can get a large fries for free. I get that $3.
Exactly.
I'm spending $3. I'm getting 2 McChickens and a large fry. I think that's stealing from McDonald's.
Hey, you know what? I can't say anything because one, they're making a lot of money, but at the same time, like clearly they know what they're doing because we keep coming back.
Oh yeah, no. Like that meal probably took them like what? Not even 50 cents to make.
No.
So like I'm not stealing from them, but it is like I feel good that if I go to like some other restaurant, like an actual sit-in restaurant, you're gonna spend like what, $20?
More than that probably.
Yeah, that's just for you.
Yeah.
Usually it's like $20 per person.
Yeah.
And that's plus tip, and that's if you don't get any alcohol or
whatever else.
What else? Like,
That's the plus of being a college kid, right? Is like you learn to be efficient, and part of that means like, hey, if I got to take a crap meal every once in a while, so be it. Like, I mean, my first 2 years of college, like it was ramen, it was McDonald's.
I love ramen. Oh man, it feels so good when I look at the price of it, and it's like what, $2 for like 20 of them or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing.
It's awesome, and I'm like, bro, this fills me up. Like I could eat this for an entire meal.
Yep.
I eat way too much ramen noodles. I get tired of it sometimes.
And hey, you got to take advantage of it while you can, because I mean, I'm sure there'll be a day where it's like, I have to eat ramen. I know I'm gonna suffer. So like, I'm gonna take advantage. My body is still like okay enough to, to make use of whatever.
This ramen noodle is the silent killer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna throw it to break. When we come back, we're gonna get one last segment here, and we'll continue this conversation, and probably we'll wrap up the show right here on Ticket Weekends with Sadio Fenner on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Hi, it's Tom and Mike from Husker Rewind. And did you know that people who are represented by an attorney are often compensated up to 3 times more than someone who is not?
Friedman Law has been helping injured people for over 60 years. It's all they do. If you're ever seriously injured in an accident, call Friedman Law at 402-476-1093.
Friedman Law is a family firm that works hard for Nebraska families just like yours.
So if you're ever injured on the job or in a crash, contact Friedman Law at friedmanlaw.com.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One last segment here on Ticket Weekends with Sadio Fenner on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sadio, it's been a great conversation. It's already been like almost 50 minutes. It's flown by.
Feels like nothing.
See, when you're having fun, time goes by fun.
Exactly.
Time just flies. It's crazy. But what do you want to wrap up the show talking about?
So the last question that I have, and I asked this last week to DP, I'm going to ask you the same thing more or less. But if you had one, bit of advice, one little thing you could leave the people that are listening to this with, what would that be?
If you want something, go for it. That's what I would say.
DP said the same thing. I like the way you both think.
Because it's just like, if I would have just, taken the easy thing and I just like, okay, I just want a paycheck. I don't care what I do. I just want to make the most money I could possibly make. I wouldn't be here. Because I'm not in this for the money, obviously.
Right.
You don't go in the radio if you want money.
You do it for the experience for the most part.
You do it because you love it. And this is what I want to do. And that's why I'm going for it. I mean, if you would have told me that I'd be talking on the radio, like an actual live radio station, like this is where this is their careers, and I'd only be like, 19 right now? I wouldn't have believed you, to be honest.
No, and I mean, I think that's awesome. Like, one of the things that I think about, and like, I laugh at this because it just came to my head, but when I was in 3rd grade, we went to this thing called Young Marytown, which is kind of like, we take kids, put them in a giant office space, basically, but it's kind of built like a small city, and you do your job, whatever. And like the job that I was given was like a radio thing. And I'm like, I'm never going to do that. And here I am, however many years later, sitting here with you doing that exact same thing. But I mean, it's like what you said, like you got to just go out there and do it. If you love it, you'll do it. And there's a lot of risk associated with it. But again, like with risk comes reward. So like you got to be willing to take those, the punches when they come. Not everything. And I'm sure you can attest to this, but like not every day is a good one. And that's okay.
No,
that means you're on the right track to something.
I mean, if every day was perfect, I mean, I don't even know. It wouldn't even be that's life.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing, like even the people that have it all, have all the money, everybody knows their name.
Yep. I mean, think about this.
Perfect.
If you had a good day every day, what are the chances that you ask, oh my God, I wish I had a bad day just so I could experience something different?
I mean, sometimes you need those bad days,
Exactly.
I mean, that's how you grow. You wouldn't grow.
Right. Yeah.
You wouldn't grow and become a better person if you didn't have those bad days. Like if everything was just perfect, you wouldn't have to learn.
Right. Yeah, no.
Everything would just be perfect.
Easy.
You wouldn't have to think outside the box. Everything would just like, this needs to be done. It's already done.
Yep. And there's no learning, there's no growth, there's no change in thought process. There's none of these important things that we value as like, you come through middle school, get to high school, get to college, and that's when you really start learning stuff because that's when the doors are open and it's,
oh yeah,
oh God, this is real life.
No. College has been my favorite experience by far. I loved high school.
Made a lot of friends in high school. Probably made more friends in high school than college, to be honest, because I just been very focused on my career for college.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, I've loved every part of coming to school here in college. Like here at UNL, like I love UNL. It's great.
I agree.
Especially my favorite thing about the journalism college is that because it's so small, like I go in a classroom and I know like mostly everybody.
Yeah.
If I was in these big lecture halls, probably wouldn't be the same thing. So it kind of feels like I'm still in high school, kind of, because it's like I still know everybody that's in like my same, grade.
Yeah.
In my school.
I think that happened. Like, so I think like the first couple of years, like for my major, it's kind of like that where you've got like in my freshman year, I had those 200, 300 large people lecture halls. But when you get older, it's like people start getting weeded out because they're like, oh God, this is really hard, or I don't want to do this anymore. So then by the time you get to be a junior or senior, it's me and like 10 other kids in the same classes all the time. So then we become really close. And
yeah,
there's that connection piece. But I mean, I'm going to kind of circle back to what you just talked about with like that, like you need to have the good days or you need to have the bad days to really like value the good days. And that's that's that perspective piece that I think a lot of people are just, oh man, I'm really dreading the bad days. And it's like, no, because the bad days are going to really like help elevate that good day experience. Like,
oh yeah,
you can't ask for rain and then get mad when there's mud.
Oh man, I love that because I feel like in Nebraska, everyone's like, man, it never rains here. And then when it does rain, it's like, oh man, it's raining too much.
Yeah, it's raining too much. I'm like, well, you can't ask for it and then like get mad at it when it does its thing.
Oh no. But no, I love that because if every day was just perfect, you wouldn't be happy.
No.
Like, because there would be nothing to look forward to. You know what I mean?
No, and I mean that's so true. Like I look at it from an athletic standpoint, and it's anybody that's chasing a championship, right? Like part of what makes winning it so sweet is that you had to go through like getting your butt handed to you. You had to lose, right? You had to have all these things. You had to have a bad practice. You had to have your body feeling horrible. But then when you get to pick that trophy up, it's like, yes, it finally all came together. I'm happy now. But like, think about what happens if you say to me, "Hey, I want to go win a national championship. Tomorrow's a national championship. You show up, you did absolutely nothing. You get handed a trophy. That trophy has no value to you.
Yeah.
Like you didn't do anything to get it, but like it's yours.
I mean, yeah, it's yours. I mean, see, this is like you have to be able to work for the things you want because otherwise it just doesn't feel like. Have you ever been like on a team where like you were like the freshman and now you practice with like the seniors or whatever, but like you weren't really a part of the team, and then that team won like won like the state championship or whatever.
Yep.
I feel like if I was a freshman, I'd be like, eh.
Yeah, no, I mean it was hard because I mean like that was my losing moment. My freshman year, my indoor team won the conference title. I didn't make the conference team, but like I'm sitting here and I'm like, dang, like it hurts to not be on that team. So then what did I do? I kept working and working and working. Yeah. Made it onto a conference team that won last year, and I'm like, that felt so sweet. It took 4 years to get there, but it felt great when I got there.
No, I definitely agree with that. But with that, thank you for tuning in to Ticket Weekends with Sadio Fenner. You can be back here next week.
Yes, sir.
Probably same time, 4 o'clock. We'll see. But until then, see ya.
See ya. Thank you, guys.
There's more time to save big at Bonzal Pool & Spa with their extended Double the Savings sales event. Now through April 30th, buyers can take advantage of up to $1,500 in savings when they purchase a new hot spring spa. Visit the Bonzal Pool & Spa showroom at 33rd and Pioneers or visit their website at www.bonzalpool.com to learn more about this hot sale. Act now because this offer ends April 30th. Bonzal Pool & Spa, every day made better.